Welcome to the Monster Mile, where the NASCAR Cup Series charges into Dover Motor Speedway for the Auto Trader Echo Park Automotive 400. This 1-mile concrete coliseum is a relentless beast with tortuous turns, high speeds, and zero room for error. From the green flag to the checkered, it's 400 laps of heart-pounding battles, door-to-door action, and pure NASCAR intensity. Who will fall victim to Miles the Monster, and who can conquer him? In this preview, we'll dive into the top stories, the playoff picture, and the driver set to do combat on the concrete. So reach up and pull those belts tight one more time. It's time to preview the Auto Trader Echo Park Automotive 400 at Dover. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our NASCAR news and race preview for this weekend's race in Dover, Delaware. We have a lot to discuss, so let's get right into it. NASCAR and its teams are on the move. After the West Coast race at Sonoma, they loaded up for a cross-country trek bound for the East Coast. The direct trip from Sonoma Raceway to Dover, Delaware clocks in at 2,888 miles. After uploading our race preview of Sonoma last week, I saw NASCAR's official YouTube channels live streaming one of their official haulers as they made the almost 3,000-mile trip. The stream started out slow and spotty with very low resolution, but there were about 150 of us tuned in and having fun in the live chat. As the stream went longer, more people tuned in, the quality increased, and we even fed the ducks along the way. Only those who attended the stream will get that reference. I saw many of our channel's community in the chat, and overall it was a fun experiment by the social media and production team at NASCAR. I would love to see the streams continue, although most of them won't be near as long. It was a cool atmosphere in the chat to engage in discussions, banter, and some mild tomfoolery. Look for NASCAR's YouTube channel to go live after this weekend's race if you want to check it out. The NASCAR vs. 2311 Front Row Motorsports legal battle continues. 2311 and Front Row were set to lose their charters this week. Monday, the team's legal counsel filed a request for a temporary restraining order and preliminary injunction so they can continue to race as chartered teams. This comes on the heels of NASCAR indicating they would immediately move to repossess the charters and sell them to other entities. A lot of questions are up in the air about what course of action 2311 and Front Row would take should they lose their chartered status. Might they continue to run as open teams? Could the teams be in jeopardy of shutting down operations? We'll have to keep a close eye on this story as it unfolds, as it could lead to a shakeup of the NASCAR landscape unlike any we've seen before. Who might be interested in purchasing the charters? We might see new teams entering the sport, or existing teams might expand or secure new charters to replace their leased charters. If any of these teams do have to shut down, where might the drivers and personnel land? This very well could be the silliest silly season we've ever seen. In other legal news, Legacy Motor Club has sued Rick Ware Racing over their alleged attempt to pull out of an agreement to sell a charter to Legacy for the 2026 season. Rick Ware Racing is countersued, claiming they are trying to take a different charter than what was previously discussed. According to Rick Ware Racing, Legacy agreed to purchase charter number 36 in a previously signed agreement, but is now pursuing charter number 27. This latest movement in the case was spurred by TJ Pushire's attempt to buy all of Rick Ware Racing. This is all complicated by the fact Legacy Motorsports claims TJ was a key player in brokering the charter sale between the two teams. The suit claims Pushire is wrongfully interfering with Legacy Motor Club's attempt to purchase a charter from Rick Ware Racing. There's a lot of movement in the NASCAR legal scene. As always, we will continue to monitor the situation. Also in Rick Ware Racing news, 2 crew members have been suspended from the next 2 Cup Series races. This comes after Cody Ware lost his right rear wheel on track late during the running of last weekend's Toyota Save Mart 350 at Sonoma. This incident occurred while the broadcast was highlighting Cody Ware's violent wreck during the closing laps of the Chicago Street Course a couple weeks ago. Sometimes when it rains, it pours, and right now it is pouring for Rick Ware Racing. Speaking of the Chicago Street Course, we previously covered Chicago's new mayor indicating he wants NASCAR to return, but under a specific circumstance. Chicago's mayor wants NASCAR to move their race date away from the July 4th weekend. NASCAR now has under 80 days to request a contract extension with the city of Chicago. Meanwhile, there have been rumors for months now NASCAR is considering returning to Chicagoland. First, I believe I remember their website being updated, which would kinda be odd for a dormant track to do without any future plans on the table. More recently, Carson Hocevar has been very active in the Chicagoland discussion. He's discussed its potential return on his Twitch live streams in the past. He also flew over Chicagoland and got some decent pictures. This led to Hocevar actually visiting the track and taking plenty of videos and photos of the current state of the track facilities. Check out Carson Hocevar's YouTube page if you'd like to see that footage. Also, this week, a report from the Sports Business Journal indicated NASCAR was evaluating a return to Chicagoland. One of the major factors in NASCAR's decision will fall on how much it might cost to bring the 1.5-mile track back up to snuff after abandoning it in 2021. The other major factor is if NASCAR can find a suitable date for Chicagoland on the schedule. As we wait for the 2026 schedule to be released, rumors are flying. One suggests North Wilkesboro might get a Cup points date. Another suggests NASCAR wants to host a street course race in the San Diego area, and the future of the Mexico City race is still undetermined. What hasn't been discussed is where these dates will come from. What tracks will lose a date, or might slip off the schedule entirely. I'm of the opinion NASCAR shouldn't revisit most of the tracks twice a year unless they are special fan favorite races or guaranteed sellouts. Tracks like Daytona, Talladega, Atlanta, Charlotte, and Bristol are all locked for 2 dates. But tracks where attendance or on-track product is less than stellar, they should drop to 1 date. We've seen what 1 race date per year will do for attendance. It leads to local fans being more determined to attend their home track's race date. If your home track has 2 race dates and plenty of open tickets, it leads to procrastination and many people deciding to stay home and waiting 2 to 6 months for the next race date. Also, going to 1 race date a year for more tracks would allow NASCAR to return to old tracks or seek out new ones. NASCAR's Executive Vice President Ben Kennedy has said they already have a speculative 2031 schedule for their internal use. Only time will tell, but I would love to see NASCAR continue to shift the schedule around. Let's shift gears and head into our preview of this weekend's race at Dover. This weekend's race is the Auto Trader Echo Park Automotive 400 at Dover Motor Speedway. That is quite a mouthful, but that's the official name. The track is a 1-mile concrete oval, and the track opened in 1969 with the king of NASCAR, Richard Petty, winning its first race. The track once held 135,000 in its hulking grandstand, but over the last 15 years, the track has downsized to its current capacity of 85,000. The track itself is quite tight with very little room for error. It's somewhat unique in that there's no runoff on the straightaways. 1 error and you can wind up in the wall. It doesn't get any easier on pit road. Known as one of the more narrow pit roads NASCAR visits, look for lots of action and potential mistakes as they head to the pits. Only 6 previous winners at Dover are active this weekend. Brad Keselowski, Denny Hamlin, Kyle Larson, Alex Bowman, Chase Elliott, and Kyle Busch all have wins at the Monster Mile. Just looking at this list, you'd assume it would be a good weekend for the HMS guys. Perhaps William Byron can join his teammates on the list this weekend. Speaking of the drivers, let's look at the driver averages at Dover. These stats are for all of these drivers' starts at Dover, meaning pre-Gen 7, so they may somewhat be skewed. And first we have Kyle Larson with the highest average finish. Second, Chase Elliott. Third, Ty Gibbs. Fourth, Brad Keselowski. 5th, Eric Jones. 6th, Kyle Busch. 7th, Joey Logano. 8th, Tyler Reddick. 9th, William Byron. And 10th, Daniel Suarez. To even further refine this list, let's look at their averages since 2022. This should give us a more accurate picture since these races all occurred in the current Gen 7 car. With the highest average finish since 2022, we have Ross Chastain in first. 2nd, Chase Elliott. 3rd, Alex Bowman. 4th, Denny Hamlin. 5th, Kyle Busch. 6th, Chris Buescher. 7th, Ty Gibbs. 8th, Ryan Blaney. 9th, Josh Berry. And 10th, Eric Jones. To further inform ourselves, let's look at our top 10 finishing order for last year's race. Please note, a couple of these drivers are no longer active in the Cup Series. So in the 2024 Dover race, Denny Hamlin won the race. 2nd place, we had Kyle Larson. 3rd, Martin Truex Jr. 4th, Kyle Busch. 5th, Chase Elliott. 6th, Noah Gragson. 7th, Ryan Blaney. 8th, Alex Bowman. 9th, Daniel Hemrick. And 10th, Ty Gibbs. These statistics do not determine how each driver will fare this weekend, but it can help inform our expectations. Once practice and qualifying happen on Saturday, we can further dial in our predictions. This is useful if you play NASCAR's Fantasy or 36 for 36 game. It can also help if you're a degenerate gambler. Degenerate gamblers will know what I mean by that. This weekend being race number 21 on the year means the playoffs are closing in very quickly. Let's take a look at our playoff bubble. In 13th, the first driver not locked in, we have Tyler Reddick 149 points above the cut line. And with a huge gap to 14th, we have Chris Buescher 34 points above the cut line. And then we have Alex Bowman in 15th, 32 points above the cut line. In 16th on the cut line, Bubba Wallace is only 3 points to the good. So now let's look at our drivers below the cut line. In 17th, we have Ryan Preece, 3 points below the cut line. In 18th, we have Kyle Busch, who's been closing in over the last few weeks, 37 points below the cut line. In 19th, we have AJ Allmendinger, 50 points below the cut line. And in 20th, we have Ty Gibbs, 60 points below the cut line. We also have the semifinals of our in-season bracket challenge. Let's take a look at this weekend's matchups and who might take home the $1 million payday. First, we have the Cinderella story. Can the glass slipper keep fitting? We have the 32nd seeded Ty Dillon, who against all odds has fought his way forward each week, sometimes by luck, and sometimes like last week, by muscle. His opponent this week is the 12th-seeded John Hunter Nemechek. On the other half of our bracket, we have two Monster Energy pseudo teammates, the 23rd-seeded Tyler Reddick versus the 6th-seed Ty Gibbs. We'll keep an eye on these two battles as Sunday's race comes to a close. This weekend we have 3 races to look forward to at Dover. Friday we have the ARCA General Tire 150 on Fox Sports 1 at 5 p.m. Eastern. Saturday we have Xfinity practice and qualifying on the CW app and website at 11 a.m. Eastern. Then we have Cup Series practice and qualifying on True TV at 1:30 p.m. Eastern. To wrap up Saturday, we have the Xfinity Bet Rivers 200 live on the CW. If you do not have a TV package, you can catch the CW over the air using an antenna. They cost $10 to $30 at Walmart, and the picture is very clear, with some exceptions, and it's also less delayed than cable and streaming platforms. If you do not have a TV package and cannot view the race any other way, on the CW website or on their app, on your phone, tablet, or television, the CW has what they call the Battle Cam. It's a no-commentary live broadcast of whatever ongoing battle they decide to follow. Usually it's the battle for the lead, but sometimes they follow other intense on-track battles. This stream has no commentary, so be aware of that going in. I would recommend listening to the radio call of the race if you choose to watch the battle cam. I will also be live streaming my own custom live leaderboard with commentary throughout the race. Stop by and say hello if that's something you're interested in. Last week, 2,000 of you stopped by the stream, which was very greatly appreciated. And to wrap things up, Sunday we have our Cup Series race at 2 p.m. on TNT. The broadcast will go live at 1:30 p.m. Eastern. I've really been enjoying TNT's coverage, although it isn't to the level of Amazon Prime's coverage. It has been passable. A lot of people had complaints about TNT's coverage of the Chicago Street Course, but I didn't see complaints about last week's coverage of Sonoma. After the race, TNT will probably provide an hour of post-race coverage, so look for that. During that post-race coverage, I'll be busy working on a race review video. Look for that video to go live Sunday after the race has concluded. Thank you guys for all the support recently. I really appreciate all of our recurring live stream viewers and the likes, comments, and support on our video uploads. If you have any thoughts about today's video or anything else, let us know in the comments and I'll try to get back to you. If this topic is interesting enough, it might just make it into a video. If you like today's video, feel free to like it and subscribe, and if you disliked it, dislike it. And hopefully, I'll see you guys in the next one.